Hey there, it's Clint with Clint's Classic World. Wanted to talk to you briefly here about, well, how about the election? How's that going to affect our muscle cars or our classic cars? How's that going to affect what's going to go on? You know, when we love cars, we enjoy them, we like to drive them. What does that look like? Well, Trump looks like he's going to be back in the presidency. So I wrote down a few things that I think of importance when it comes to classic cars and kind of the future with these classic cars and the future of our muscle cars. So let me get started. First of all, subscribe to my channel and let's start on this. So, made a little notepad here of some few items that I came up with, and I, put some positive and some negative. So I'm going to give positive spins and some negative spins on both here, whether it's Trump or Harris. How I think that would progress with, or how that would be negative against our muscle cars or our classic cars. First of all, let's talk about fuel, right? That's a huge driver that we had with the economy, with inflation, things of that nature. Well, now Trump is back in office. And I don't know, for me, I actually had, I remember going to the pump and paying $1.29 a gallon when Trump was in office. $1.29, that's for regular, okay? That's a very low price. And now we're over double that at the pump, at least here in Texas, okay? Of course, at other places, it's gonna be a lot more. But with that said, some things like the pipeline, the few pipelines, things like that got shut down, under the, I guess, Biden administration. It's obvious the prices went up on fuel. Inflation also rose as well, of course. But lower fuel prices is what I see in the future here, possibly with Trump, if the same things occur, because we just saw what happened in his last presidency, and the fuel prices really did start dropping pretty aggressively. So that's probably one positive for more driving, more enjoying our muscle cars. Then let's get down to, if let's say with Harris here, fuel costs probably, if she was in the presidency right now, I would say they would probably stay the same. Maybe the prices stay the same, maybe even go up a little bit. They might even go up. To see a dramatic drop in prices and fuel, that just didn't seem it was important to the Biden administration. So I don't think it probably been that important to Harris as well. But we'll see what happens in Trump's administration. Next, let's talk a little bit about real estate now. With Trump coming in, he's into real estate. That's his thing. He loves that. It's one of his companies, his babies. So looking at that, I can only see I'm actually a little bit in real estate as well, and I think that real estate's going to thrive. It may not take off and just do leaps and bounds, but I do think that it's going to remain strong. And it's going to be more because there's going to be more investment. There's going to be more positive, I guess, vibes when people are getting into it, I guess, because maybe Trump's in it. And, of course, there's always tax write-offs, which have been around forever, through all the administrations that the IRS code allows for real estate investing. So that's a huge benefit. And then that goes to muscle car and classic car values, okay? Muscle car and classic car values are also probably going to, remain pretty strong or steady through that same way. Because if we look in the past, like 2008, 2012, roughly, when the real estate market crashed, if you look back around that time when the real estate market crashed, classic cars, exotic cars, muscle cars, man, they just tanked. They tanked. I mean, we're talking 50% value drop in some of these cars, maybe more. And the same thing with the real estate. Just depends on your location. So, that's what I'm thinking here. I think Trump in office, hoping that that's going to create a positive spin on our real estate and also keep our, pretty strong classic car, muscle car values for us. Now with Harris, and if she was going to be in office, it would have probably been, I think that there might have been inflation with the real estate, because there was a lot of talk about her trying to give out a lot of free money for people who are wanting to get houses because houses were so expensive. Well, really, you don't give out money to give people houses if you're worried about houses being expensive, because what's going to happen? That's just going to drive the price even higher, because that causes inflation giving out money. So I don't understand the concept there, because giving money away, tax people have to pay that, and again, that creates inflation. So there's a huge problem there. You just can't do that. So that just wouldn't have worked. I don't see a positive spin on that, because I'm in real estate. Classic car values, muscle car value, they could have been a little shaky with Harris in office. Up, down, the same. It's hard to say, of course, but yeah, it really depends on, how a real estate market would have turned out. And again, Trump's still got to do a good job. So we'll see how it turns out here in the future. Of course, with Harris in office, there's going to be that continuation of electric car push that Biden and other administrations have already started. And Trump is more into oil and gas and things of that nature and business type things. So I just don't see that importance. Matter of fact, the electric cars, actually under Trump's administration, that may slow down even more. It's already slowing down because there's no demand, or there's a lot lower demand. So that may actually slow down even more. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what happens with that, because we've been losing a lot of muscle cars to this, mandate or whatever that's out there, that there needs to be electric cars by X year. Well, maybe some of that might change. Maybe Trump might change that. I'm kind of curious what the future may hold, because we might actually start seeing some big engines coming back, some powerful engines coming back from muscle cars, and bringing out some new muscle cars again with some nice engines, versus going all this electric way. I know that a lot of these manufacturers have invested a lot of money in the electric, but they're also noticing who's buying it. Not a lot of people. So we'll see what happens. Now, the negative spin on this is when Trump was in office last, even though the fuel prices went down, that was good for the consumer. Well, for the investor person in the oil, gas industry, the people that would invest in that, if you remember, their stocks tanked. So in the future here, we might have more supply if he opens up pipelines and does more and brings more in, lowering our costs, and less demand. But then, of course, the stock prices and things of that nature on investment on oil might drop. So that might be a slight negative here for Trump in that regard. So, let's see what happens. But I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what's going to happen with these classic cars and muscle cars. I actually feel kind of positive. I wasn't really sure if the Democrats would have taken office, kind of where it was going to go in the future, because, I'm just so worried about inflation. I'm hoping here that Trump can help a little bit with this inflation, maybe lower gas prices, which I think that's a real good driver of that inflation, among a few other things. But anyways, the future we will see soon. With that said, I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.